Alrighty, folks. I have someone today that you have to follow. It is a must follow, whether you are an entrepreneur or W-2 employee. This is somebody I know, respect, and follow. Omar from the department, or AKA the video department. How you doing, Omar?
Dude, I am so honored to be on, and I'm excited to get into all the things talking about branding, why you should even consider posting videos, regardless of what space you find yourself in.
Yeah, this is a big deal for me. One of the things that I find myself focusing on is, my avatars, that full-time employee. They're working 9 to 5, but what can they do from 5 to 9? My journey started with real estate. After I left, it started with video and content, and it's opened my eyes to so many things. But before we get into that, why don't you tell the audience, who is Omar? What's your origin story? What's the backstory of Omar?
Yeah, name's Omar El, and I consider myself a content creator, podcaster, but also a coach and consultant for entrepreneurs. And I've been doing video for well over 15 years. When I was in high school, you were able to take that elective, whatever you wanted to do for that period. And I ended up taking broadcast journalism, and that's when I was exposed to creating videos. And at the time, it was a lot different, but a lot of the same principles applied, right? We were creating creative videos like public service announcements, and we were making the morning news. But I just fell in love with the process of creating videos, ended up buying a camera from Target and started vlogging. And this is 2008, 2009. And then fast forward, I find myself at a church actually working alongside Sean Cannell, the CEO of Think Media. And it's just been cool. Like, I mean, honestly, the video has been really the tool that I've grown in and my skills around. And I couldn't have called it. I didn't call it. I couldn't have seen that the world would need video as a base level skill almost. I always like to say, like, as far as language goes, they stopped teaching cursive in schools. I almost feel like there should be a mandatory, creating video class, because it's a means of communication and it's just so powerful. You can communicate. We're not even sitting in the same room, but we're having a conversation via video, right? So fast forward, I started working with Sean at Think Media, doing like the behind the scenes work, filming and editing. And I also had my own agency, and doing video strategy for businesses and local businesses and things like that. Until around 2019, Sean was like, "Hey, why don't you start teaching?" I was like, I mean, let's try it. So we did a couple of videos. They did really well. And then I was like off to the races, and just have, over the past, I guess you could say 5 or 6 years, I've amassed over 50 million views on the videos I've produced and created.
Wow.
And currently, have a studio in Las Vegas where, I find that most people, the fastest way to kind of like get to, a quick result is to just have somebody show them in person. So that's why I got a studio. So people come, I do workshops. I also have a coaching program and things like that. But no, dude, it's been really cool. I feel like a lot of people think I'm a talented individual. And I just like to say, if you just stick with something long enough, I hope that you'd be decent at it, and I get joy out of it. I get joy out of teaching video. I get joy out of still making videos. I love being behind the scenes still. But yeah, I recently launched a podcast as well, earlier September of last year, and I didn't expect that to pop off. It already have. I think I passed 250,000 views on my podcast on
Wow.
YouTube in under 90 days, and it's been cool. Yeah, I couldn't have called it. It's been really. I'm like it's kind of shifted a lot of my my goals this year, because I feel like I need to take it more seriously, because people are really vibing with the podcast.
No, I've watched it. You've had some great folks on. Obviously, Ryan Pineda. You've had this wonderful human being, Charlene. I
Yeah,
forget Charlene's last name.
Charlene Johnson. Yeah,
There you go, Johnson. Yeah, she's a
yeah.
fun follow. She's a spitfire. I love what she's putting out there. But there is a saying that I've seen all over your Instagram that you believe, and many others like Charlene believe. So I'm going to ask you the open-ended question and let you riff. What is the fastest way to wealth, in your opinion?
Yeah, I believe honestly the fastest path to wealth, and I've considered this, because of real estate and investments and things like that.
Mhm.
But you hear time and time again from people who are really leading in this space, entrepreneurial wise, that attention is the newest commodity. It's like, it's not oil. Alex Hermosi would say it's not oil, it's attention. Mr. Beast would say attention is the algorithm. And I would say the fastest path to wealth is content creation. And the reason I say that is because, you mentioned that a lot of W2 people, consume your content. And usually we equate W2 to, muscle and time, or like you're trading your time for money, right?
Mhm.
The
Yep.
thing about content and the thing about creating videos is that you're not trading time for money, because you get to multiply yourself with video. So I could put out a message and I say it once, but it's viewed, it's consumed, I even use video to write my emails. And so I'm able to multiply. And so it's a funny word, like to say, it's a funny way to say it, but video makes you omnipresent, right? So I can do something once, and now at 3 a.m. somebody can learn from me and maybe go down a path, if I have enough content, that they would be persuaded to maybe invest in a program that I have, or a product I want to sell, or whatever that may be. And so the reason I say that is because wealth oftentimes is equated to how much time you have back. And when I look at my life and how blessed I am to say that I put in, I work hard, but I would say there's construction going down the street. They work harder than me. And I'm able to just show up, have a conversation with people, and it's getting viewed by thousands and thousands of people. And that's time spent. One of my favorite stats on YouTube, honestly, it's not views, it's not subscribers, and it's not even the Google AdSense. It's the watch time, because you get to do some math, and it's like, holy cow, in the month of December, I spent 15 years with people.
Mm.
And that's why I say it's the fastest path to wealth, because although real estate is a good option, it just takes some time. And so does content. There's also, seasons of growth and stuff, but you kind of just never know. You never know that your life experiences could resonate with a handful of people. I would even say, thousands, hundreds of thousands. You never know. And that people can actually learn from you. They can connect with you. You can build a relationship with people online, and that's why I say that. And so, um, like, wealth is obviously way more than money, but the money that comes with having an audience it just comes easy. And so,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I would encourage anyone to just consider, turning on a camera and start sharing things that you enjoy. I love coffee. Like, I'm a weirdo when it comes to it, because I've probably spent $3,000 on my home coffee setup. But it's just little things like that that connect with people. And if I wanted to put out a coffee course, I could, and
Yeah.
so it provides you the opportunity to kind of do what you would like to do. And
Yeah.
that is, and I think the ultimate definition of wealth is
Yeah.
being able to decide.
I couldn't agree more. And this is gonna, this is for my Gen X and my baby boomer followers. If Omar or anyone would have told me 5 years ago that the fastest path to wealth is content creation, I would have laughed in their face. I mean, like, just laughed out loud. I'm somebody who earned six figures in a day job, climbed the corporate ladder, did better than average. I built up an eight-figure real estate portfolio over 15, 16 years. And by all intents, by most judgments, am wealthy. I quit 2018. I get into content creation by accident. And I can tell you right now that content creation is the fastest pace to wealth. For example, look at Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone sold hours selling courses, travel all over the place. The guy is omnipresent on social media and has raised billions of dollars in private money and now attracts deal flow. Look at Ryan Pineda, somebody that's been on your department podcast. Yes, he was wildly successful flipping couches and flipping houses. He picked up a camera, he popped off. Now he's doing deal flow and he's getting all these other things. So I challenge Gen Xers and baby boomers to take this serious. And I know there's a lot of them were like me, had a W-2 employee. You did your day job, you worked your 9 to 5, your 9 to 6, whatever it is. It's my belief, Omar, like you just talked about coffee. I believe everybody my age and older, and probably younger as well, has a passion, a hobby that they could talk about and riff about, and it would be fun.
Mm,
There's something there. And oh, by the
yeah.
way, if you do this over time, you can build up a following while you have your day job and make that transition. Because I got to tell you, Omar, my transition from a day job to content creation was horrible. It started off with depression.
Yeah.
And I just want people to realize it's there. So why don't you talk to the W-2 employees who has a hobby, making jam, classic cars, whatever, Harley motorcycles. I don't care what it is. They could do something today
Yep.
with their smartphone and just get started.
Yeah, I think it's funny how you even bring up that those generations, because I would argue that there is a void of input in this content creation space. And that is the older people, the people who have already maybe even lived their career or have done their career, and now they're kind of empty nesters. Maybe you've been married for 25, 30 plus years. That and actually my podcast releasing literally tomorrow with Shalene is actually, she's my first guest back. We talk about the opportunity for these generations to hop on because they have so much wisdom. Like that, here's the thing that because I think a lot of people get caught up in the strategy. And I'm glad you never really got caught up in the strategy. You just got caught up in showing up, like
Yeah.
whatever I got to do to show up. And that was your strategy. And I think showing up is a strategy. But the one thing that I feel like every platform actually rewards is transparency and authenticity. And there is a pureness for people who are watching this podcast or listening to this podcast, that if you do just turn on your phone and like record 10 minutes and riff on something, I'm not saying it's going to go viral, but I'm saying that if you do that over time, it's going to resonate with people. It's funny because Shalene is actually like an Instagram educator, and she was like, I'm kind of biased now toward TikTok because TikTok has a really good authenticity and transparency, meter.
Mm.
Whereas Instagram, it's kind of like, it's kind of stimulating if you follow certain people. Everybody's copying and doing the same thing. But similar to YouTube, I just started posting conversations on my YouTube channel, just pure conversations. Yes, they were in high quality. I understand that, but there was no editing. I don't throw my logo. I don't throw my social media handles. I don't even put a subscribe button. I literally just upload the conversation, and it
Mhm.
resonated. And so people are hungry for that. And you know who more than people who are hungry for that? Brands, companies, businesses, advertisers. They're looking for people to partner with that are in that age group and demographic. Right. So I just wanted to speak to that. I think some people disqualify themselves because of their age. And I think there's actually, it's been better than ever because now you actually can show up the young kids that don't know what they're talking about, in all honesty. But if you do have something that like just like a passion, an interest, literally something you figure out, I always like to view it as, because like if you're, traditionally you're working 9 to 5 and then you have like a 5 to 9 or 6 to 9 where you can work on your side hustle. I almost feel like invite people. Just invite people into the things that you're into, because maybe you make your coffee. The coffee references are just going to stay the entire podcast, but maybe you have like a great espresso machine and you're making awesome coffee at home, and you just post it on stories how you make coffee at home. Like
Yeah.
it's that simple, and you just included, you're inviting people into something that you're into, and who knows where that can lead to. But the reason why we say it's wealth is because it's just like investing in real estate. When was the best time to invest in real estate?
Yesterday.
When's the next best time?
Today.
Today. So
Right.
because as time goes on, you want to build that equity, and the equity is with attention. And so yeah, man, I feel like the opportunity is wide open, especially because we have these smartphones.
Yeah.
And man, I'm just take it from me that like literally video has changed my life. It's changed my relationships, my opportunities, my business, my family. Like we just had a son. My wife delivered a son on the 29th. I guess he's 10 days old. Little Russell Royce. And
Oh, I like it.
yeah, and I've just been able to hang out at home, but it's not like my business stopped working. What was cool
Right.
is that literally people are still DMing me, people are still watching views, people are still sharing my stuff. So I say all that to say this is where the opportunity lies. And so if maybe you've been feeling like a tug to put yourself out there, I would say just start with that one video and don't even edit it. Like just
No,
record it
don't
on your
edit.
phone. You don't even need good lighting. I mean, I'm the guy who's like all about the quality. Like if you can help it, turn on a light or get in front of a window, but just share something. How have you stayed married for 30 years? How did you quit your, cigarette addiction? Whatever it is, and then just upload that thing to YouTube, share it on your Instagram, your Facebook, and get in that process to know that this is normal. And it's funny because I have a 5-year-old also. We have 2 kids, and she's Ruby, and like creating videos on the phone is not a foreign concept to her because she sees her dad doing it all the time.
Mhm.
And I'm actually pumped about that because it's going to give her the possibility to know that this is a way that she can go if she would so desire.
Yeah, again, I would challenge folks, 40 and over, where maybe a video like YouTube popped off when we were already adults and already, on our, track record or whatever it is. You have something. You are just not an employee and go to sleep at night. You have a passion, a hobby, an interest. You have a story. And, a lot of you are working towards retirement and you have this date. Trust me when I say that date's gonna come, and having something that you're passionate about after
Mm,
is amazing, and why not build it, do 1 video a week. Make it your Saturday conversation or your
so
Sunday
good.
review or whatever it is, and, the other thing that's really empowering is, I've been doing this for 5 plus years, 50 some thousand subs, but I've done, I think, 12,000 videos,
Incredible.
which is nuts, right? None of them are edited. They've all riffed.
I
I've
love it.
stammered. My dogs have barked. Uh, you know, they are what they are. But what is really powerful is we got to 50,000, which was a big number for us, and we are going to host an event in Vegas, February 17th and 18th. It's like
Let's
less than
go.
40 days away. It's sold out in like 35 days. Right? People have been with us for years. It's like I'm not missing that. Right?
Yeah.
We're
You
coming
built
to
you
that.
built up that equity for the ask. And
Yeah.
and no, that's literally that's a perfect image of what it looks like, It's you just showing up giving value. And sometimes it maybe not feel like you're giving value because you're just talking about something you enjoy. And
Yeah.
then people
It's
connect
never
and
felt
it's
like
like,
work. It's
yeah.
never felt like work.
And that's why, if there's that negative, there is that negative connotation around social media that it actually is, not it's making us distracted, and there are all those things. There's good things and bad things with everything, right? But social media really does connect people, like I mentioned how your relationships have changed because you've showed up 12,000 times on video, and it's powerful, and then people just want to hang out. Same thing, I'm throwing on a workshop in the first week of February. This is my first time doing that, and I charge a pretty penny because I want to work with serious people and I want it to be an intimate experience, and it filled up in 2 weeks, and and it's awesome. Like, and now I can just deliver. It'll be a 2-day experience that I'll put for people, and then I can move on and then just keep doing the same thing. And then when I feel like
Yeah.
asking again, you can ask again. So it really is. It's cool. It gives you the opportunity to ask and do
Yeah.
things.
The other thing you put out on Instagram yesterday, which I clearly fully agree with, is a lot of folks get tied up in editing. I want to make it perfect.
Mhm.
To which I obviously say, forget that. Just hit the live button and go. Right? Just go live. It's okay.
No, I love it. I always like to, the reason why I love even live and non-edited is because if you're gonna I believe content creation is a skill, communication is a skill, sales and persuasion, that's a skill. And if you can develop it in real time kind of type video, you actually, create an advantage. And that advantage is that there's going to be less of a disconnect and more of an intimacy when people consume your content. So,
Mm.
I love the live. Like I love, get some sticky notes if you want, and you could use like using props or things that make it interesting. Maybe like whiteboard stuff. I
Mhm.
I know so many people like I was helping this loan officer in San Diego, and he puts on these seminars to educate veterans on the VA loan.
Mm.
And he's asking me, he needs help with all this, content. I want to, build my personal brand. And I'm looking at his slide deck, and I'm like, bro, your slide deck is your content. Like just just teach the slide
Don't
deck.
overthink it.
No,
Yeah.
no, for real. And so a lot of people have even resources already to just go and deliver. And and the reason why I say I like starting with that, or video podcasting, which is again relational type content, um, teaching just start to finish, just showing up, is it actually, if you are really who you say you are, people will, number one, feel that, and then they will buy into whatever it is you have. And if that is just to watch the next video, cool. There actually is, like, I'm a student of the game. So when I see somebody pop up on my feed on YouTube, I'm like, I get interested. I'm like, okay, this interests me. There's this guy, his YouTube channel is called The Uneducated Economist, something like that. Do you know
Yep.
who this guy is?
Yeah, he's coming to our event. He's been on
Oh,
my
no
channel
way.
multiple times.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. No,
Simon's his name.
Simon has been filming his videos in his
From the
car
car. Yep.
and just start to finish, not even like the thumbnail, just picking the thumbnail. And it's because the transparency, the authenticity, and the credibility. So the credibility comes from him being able to just talk for a little bit. So I would imagine people are now listening to me and be like, oh, Omar is who he says he is. Like,
Yeah.
he could talk about this stuff, and I don't need an edit to edit me deliver this content. So I do think it's the best way to start, actually, is just turn it on, don't even edit it, and upload it.
Yeah. Yeah. The next thing I want people to realize is a lot of people get caught up in the vanity metrics, right? Subscriber count, views, all of that. And again, if you're starting this with your passion and your focus, your tribe might be sub 5,000, but they are in it,
Mm-hmm.
right? I get, probably after the first 18 months, I was getting weekly notes of people saying, thank you. You helped me. You've changed my life, my family's life. Now it's multiple a day. You want to be gassed up and ready to go? Start hearing from your tribe. And again,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have to be 1.8 million or 4.4 million or any of these big numbers. If you have your lane, you can impact people's lives in a very positive way. And it's just so amazing that YouTube allows us to do that.
No, it's incredible. And honestly, my favorite thing is, like, yeah, people taking the time to leave even the platform. Sometimes they obviously leave the comment on the platform on YouTube, but leave the platform and then DM me and just share
Yeah.
their appreciation. You know what I always like to say, just, you know, outcome, yeah, like when you're outcome focused, that's when you can get discouraged. But
Mhm.
if you can just focus on your outputs. So what are your outputs? This is why I say, it's like, pick an output goal. What is that? Is that one a week? Is that, two a week, or whatever it is, based on whatever platforms? Like, once you determine that, then that's what you can compare yourself to. That's what the thing you can, judge. But when it comes to the outcomes, sometimes that's like, you kind of just, you hope it grows. Like, I didn't intend for my podcast to grow. I wanted it to, for sure. Of course, we all want
Mhm.
it to grow. But I was like, dude, I'm gonna upload a conversation every week, once a week,
Yep.
until I something else, Jesus comes back. I don't know. So, like, I feel
Just
like
gonna
that's yours.
go,
I feel
man,
like
not
that's your
stopping.
strategy too.
Oh yeah.
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 So
The really fun thing about this is, I do 3 or 4 conversations a day, 5 days a week, right? I now take off Friday and Saturday, but I went 7 days a week for 3.5 years.
so good.
Uh, Now I take 2 days off, just, better balance and all of that. But um, I'm already looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is fun, right? You build up relationships, you're helping people. Um, it doesn't take a lot of prep. These are just conversations with people that are experts in their field. So so much fun, Omar. It's so much fun.
It really is. And like, that's the joy part. This is why it's the wealth part. You're
Mhm.
technically working, but you just said this is fun.
Oh yeah.
And then
I'm
you
not.
decide to take off
Yep.
those 2 days. So use it. So all these things are really like what we all desire, and I guess what we're working for. We're working for freedom. We're working for the ability to choose,
Mhm.
and yes, content creation will open up that door.
So the other thing is, if we talk about again, there's kind of this demographics we've talked about. We've talked about editing. You don't have to just go live. The other things is there's a lot of kind of perception that tools, and I need a great camera and the fancy lens and all these different lights. And I don't know what everybody's story is, but I think it was the first 1,000 videos I did with
Wow.
an iPhone. And then the only tool I would recommend is a mic, and I'm even lazy. I got a mic with a lavalier, like a plug-in, right? That's it, 40 bucks on Amazon, and I did over 1,000 videos because I thought sound, my opinion, was more important than light. What do you think of all that?
I agree. So I have this framework that I teach. It's ALVIS. It's an acronym, and
Okay.
it's audio, lighting, video, and studio or setup.
Ah, I
And
like it.
it's chrono it's in the order that you should consider things, right? Because we all understand that we have our phones. These shoot incredible video, but you can have decent video or even subpar video but really good audio, and it's because audio makes people feel close, or people will feel
Mm,
close to you when your audio is good. When your audio is bad, there's a distance that gets created and it becomes distracting, and then what do? They continue to swipe or they click off because they're now working to consume your content. And that's the point. The point to invest in gear is to make the viewer's experience just a lot more easier and simple,
yeah.
and yeah, like that they like watching, they like listening. But the next thing isn't a video, isn't a camera. The next thing is lighting. And
Yes.
and all this stuff, yes, you can get wireless, cheap wireless mics. Even there is a Ulanzi $50 wireless
Mhm,
mic you can get for your phone if you want to just clip it on your shirt. It sounds good. And then there's a $50 light called a Mount Dog. I don't know
mm.
why they call it Mount Dog, but it's a dimmable light. For $50, if you get the 2 pack, it's like 75 bucks, and it looks good, and your phone is just gonna look amazing at that point. If you search YouTube Studio under $100, I have a
Yeah,
video, and
nice.
I think it kind of will make people second guess buying a camera. And then when you are, then there's like learning your phone. You can actually,
Yeah,
you can make your phone look better than what it is with the lighting, with the audio, with the placement. And so that is just like taking little steps to just make it, look decent. But if it really does just depends on like the type of content you're creating. I do encourage like entrepreneur professionals, like, hey, if you want to stand out faster, it does help to have the quality piece, because the quality alone will yield comments. Dang, dude, you look and sound so good. Dang, dude, this setup's legit. And so it starts conversations. But for people just starting, you hit 1,000 videos with your smartphone, and not even a wireless mic, a wired mic, which is actually more reliable in all honesty because you don't have to charge it. So good on
mhm.
you.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I'm
yeah.
anti-tech sometimes, and that whole charging thing, I was like, "I'm gonna screw that up."
Yeah. And that's good that you had the self-awareness to know that. And so, yeah, when you feel the time is right, nothing, here's what all the gear won't replace. Good audio, good lighting, good video, good setup. It won't replace great communication. It won't replace good storytelling. It won't replace facts. It won't replace your observations and your opinions and how you convey that. It won't replace your charisma. So, this is why I do think starting with your smartphone is wise, because those other things need to be worked on. And so the more you create with your content, the better you're going to get, especially if you watch your videos back. Like
Mm.
I do like watching my videos back because I want to be better at communicating. And so here's kind of two tips that I learned from a speaking coach when it comes to video. Number one, listen to your video without watching it. So you're gonna flip the phone
Ah.
down, put it down, and just listen. And then you're gonna see maybe how many times you say like and it's gonna make you more aware of how you talk. And then what it's gonna do is it's gonna create a conscious for you to not do that. As you keep becoming more cognizant of that about that. And then the second thing to do is to watch your video but mute your audio. And so now you can see how your body language moves, and how you communicate using maybe your hands or just your posture. So you're taking the approach to really becoming a better communicator in your content. But those are just two little easy tips that you can implement. And I know there is the cringe phase, right? Like where, man, I hate hearing the sound of my voice. I would encourage you to get used to it,
Yeah.
and actually learn to love it because it's your voice.
It's the only one you got, so you might
Yeah.
as well like it.
Yeah. So yeah,
Uh,
man, you don't need all the fancy stuff. I am a fan of it. I definitely think it makes you stand out. But when it comes to getting started and when it comes to actually being able to build, an audience, you don't need the gear to build the audience. You need the content to build the audience. And that's been more accessible than ever.
So we've talked about the tools. Now let's talk about the schedule. A lot of people get wrapped up in going, I got to do something every day or every week. Again, if this is something you're starting, you're doing your 9 to 5 as a W-2 and you're building something on the side, there's nothing wrong with once a week in the beginning. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I kind of just say whatever you feel like you can commit to, but commit to it. So the key is not saying I'd like to do one upload to YouTube a week. It's like, no, what will you commit to?
Right.
Because a lot of times the tip that a lot of like content coaches give is like you just got to get started, and that is I think that's step two. Step one is you have to decide.
Right.
There's a decide, which my business coach, he breaks, when you break down that word, it means to cut off, like D, and then side means to cut, so it means to remove all other options. So you have to come to a place where it's like, I'm going to give this a shot, and I'm going to post one video a week. Like that is it's more about you in the beginning season. It's not about the algorithm, it's not about the platform. I do have a formula that I feel like is a recipe for success. But if it's too much, then I would say just cool it back. And the formula I like to give, my content game plan, I like to say, is one long form video uploaded to YouTube. And when people say long form, what does that mean? I'd say 8 minutes or longer. So it could be 8 minutes, it could be an hour. And the reason I say 8 minutes is because, when the ads kick in, it's nice because it literally almost doubles your AdSense just because you
Right.
uploaded 8-minute videos. And then the next is to post 3 to 5 vertical videos on Instagram or TikTok, wherever you like to go. Like even if you don't go on Instagram and you like Facebook, post your vertical videos on Facebook. And I always like to say 3 to 5 reels. And here's what's cool about that: you can take those moments from the long form video and just post that on Facebook. If there was just one tip you gave, if there was something you said that would stood out, if it was something that didn't even make sense, but when you wanted an upload because you have the long form, run it. Cool. And then the next piece would be what I believe is the most overlooked aspect of social media right now, and that is just stories, because that genuinely is live, that genuinely requires no editing, and it also it's there, it doesn't live, it goes away after 24 hours. So if you feel like you don't want your content to just live forever, it's great to just pull out your phone and just like I said earlier in the conversation, just invite people. What are you doing? Where are you going? Why do you like that over this? Or asking people what they think about something. And so that's kind of like my content game plan. It's one long form video a week on YouTube, 3 to 5 vertical videos a week on whatever platform you watch vertical videos on, and then posting stories on those platforms. And that's just three or so times a day. Check in with your people, ask them questions. And I promise you, a year from now of doing that will absolutely change your life. Like legit. Like I will give you, if you do that, I will meet you in person and shake your hand and give you a hug if you actually do that. Cause I would love to see the results of that. I launched a beta coaching program at the end of 2022. So it was like, hey, I want you to journey with me for an entire year. I'm going to coach you every week. I'm going to do a call. And I sold it super cheap. It was like $2,000 for a year's worth of coaching.
Wow.
And I got about 50 people to join, about 53 people. I made 100K just by throwing it out there. I didn't even have
Hmm.
the program, and it blew me away. I was like, wow, like if I didn't just take a season, and all I did was decide. I decided earlier in 2022 on Instagram that I was just going
Right.
to take my personal brand more serious and shared tips. And I also told myself I'm not going to do it, you know, I'm going to do it while a camera's rolling, right? So like right now I have a camera rolling off to the side, and it's because I'm already creating content. So I don't need to create the content again. I can literally just post the clip that I had from the side angle. So I did that for a year. I just, whenever I was sharing tips, I had a camera rolling, and then I posted that 10 months later, gave an opportunity, and it was really cool to journey with those people, and they gave me a lot of insight on how I'm going to be coaching people for, in the future. But yeah, man, all that to say, I could ramble forever on how this opportunity is wide open, and I haven't even touched on the brand deal stuff. But my podcast already, I'm getting emails from people who want to partner, ad reads, things like that, and it's just it's unreal because I'm using my podcast technically to market my business, but it's becoming an income generator in and of itself. It's becoming
Yeah.
an audience builder in and of itself. And so that's why it's so powerful. Alex Hormozy says, there's never been a time where you got paid to market your business in the way we're doing it now. And now it's literally like you get to market, and then there's financial compensation, as it makes sense, when the time comes. But it really starts with you deciding.
Yeah. Well, let's do us a favor, right? Again, we're trying to get W-2 employees who have a passion, a hobby to get started. Video is the way to go. Fastest pace to wealth. We talked about the tools, schedules. I now want to step back and do Omar's evolution because you are clearly polished. You're clearly experienced. You clearly got all the crispy sound and video. I love that word. I saw that on one of your posts. Crispy. I thought that was cool.
It
Um,
works.
but it works. I like it. It's very, very, it's just awesome. But let's talk about your evolution as a content creator. Let's go back to the very beginning. What
Yeah.
was your moment of decision? What were you doing then? Because it's probably very different than you're doing today.
For sure. I mean, those decisions that I made early on was like, I genuinely remember the decision I made that I wanted to start vlogging. Um, and it's funny because I started vlogging, and then I started an agency, like as far as being behind the scenes and stuff. But I remember that I just saw people on YouTube literally just talking to cameras that were highly entertaining, and they were showing their life, or maybe they were doing talking head videos, even music. I was, following a lot of music on YouTube, and I was just like, dang, like there's something there. And so I remember going to Target and using my savings and getting it's called a USB flip camera, which it charged, and it transferred the footage via USB, and it was connected to the camera. And then I illegally downloaded Sony Vegas, which is an editing software. And I just taught myself how to edit and put together these videos. And then my friends, actually, I had friends who rapped. They made music, and so that they're like, let's make music videos. And then I got to learn how to get creative with the camera. But when it comes to like creating content, I feel like it really started when I was working at a church, and it was the church that I was working with Sean, and there was times where I did on camera stuff, like we did announcement videos, but then there was other times where I would film the minister, or I would film the person giving the devotional, and I always knew in the back of my head that like one day I'm going to be teaching, like one day I'll be up front. And it was kind of just like this whisper. Like, I mean, I like to say, was it the voice of God? I feel like it was an impression. I feel like, how do you know it was the voice of God? If it was, because it connected to impacting people, is why I could say it might have been the voice of God. So I just kept that to myself. Like, one day I'll be in front was kind of the phrase or the impression. So I just started just like watching communicators. I started, when I would film people, I would coach them on how to say it better, even though I probably wouldn't do as good being in front, because it's easy to tell somebody what to do rather than to actually do it right. But then like when Sean invited me to start creating content on Think Media, like, number one, like shout out to him, because I think there was around 650, 700,000 subscribers. So that was like a big platform that he was just letting me, step on
Yeah.
and grow and develop in. So, and I'm eternally grateful for that, because I watched my videos back then, and my tone, like I feel like I sounded like a dweeb. Like when I'm like, dang, I talked with like, and I think it was just a lack of confidence. Even though the videos got uploaded and they were good, dude, these videos, they got a ton of views because they were very practical. I was just tutorial based camera reviews, camera setup videos, lighting setup videos. Yeah. So people are looking for the information. They weren't looking for me. So I think that's why we say use your passion, because people actually aren't looking for you quite necessarily. They're looking for the thing that you want to talk about, or the thing you are passionate about, whether it's
Right.
golf or classic cars or whatever. That's what they're looking for. So you actually have the benefit of the doubt, because you're not selling you're selling whatever passion you have, right? So yeah, it helped that I was very into this stuff. But over the course of time, I would watch back my videos and figure out ways to do it better. I'd watch other people and see how I can make it better. And then I feel like you said, like the repetition is what's going to allow you to, grow. So, I mean, I've uploaded on Think Media, I think a little over 300 videos, and these are like, you know, edited tutorial based videos that were highly produced and really thought through, brand deal integrations and things like that. And yeah, I mean, it's taken the time to get to where I am, but it had to start by me actually uploading and seeing and cringing. And so yeah, now I've kind of chilled out on the tech gear reviews. I do them occasionally. They're less frequent. Around 2020 to 2022, 23, I was doing 8 videos a month, and it was cool. It allowed me to get, you know, probably grow faster potentially. But now I do like the, when we were talking about like the non-edited thing, because here's the reality. The reality is that you create the expectation of the viewer. So when you decide to play somebody else's game, you're actually, you get to create that expectation or that experience. And so now if somebody has to be wooed into watching your video because you had to try so hard, you know, to make that edit and like to do all these crazy things and not even be yourself, then you're going to have to do it again. And that gets exhausting.
Oh yeah.
And this is why I stepped into podcasting, because I'm like, dude, I can show up like this. Like I could sit down, again, you know, set a conversation and then hit record on cameras. I use AI to actually cut up the conversation, so it's not even heavily edited. And it's cool because the viewership, it's richer because those people are watching longer, they're hanging out, they're consuming, and I would prefer that than a bunch of views from, you know, me not being myself. And so
Yeah.
this is why I say, me knowing both ends. I know that the edited video side, and then now like I've seen like the power of just posting long videos with no edits. I would tell people to start with the no edits and just conversational and just be real, and people will resonate.
Yeah, this is why I really want W-2 employees to really think about what's their hobby or passion, right? What were you doing as a teenager or in your 20s? Because whatever you're doing from, 6 to 9 or whatever you choose to do it, it can't feel like work.
Right.
You don't need more work. And if you're sharing, you're doing product reviews, whatever it is, as long as it's your authentic self, it won't feel like work. And frankly, it'll probably be fun and de-stress everything else because you will see momentum. Even a guy like me who puts out a lot of videos, it starts really, really slow. And it just momentum happens. It's inertia. You get better, the audience finds you, the algorithm helps you now and again. Um, The rewards are out there. Again, back to the first question, the fastest pace to wealth is this. So
Hmm.
I'd be remiss, Omar, if we didn't kind of look into the future. The creator economy is obviously a lot more than video. You're doing brand deals, you're doing all of these other things. But where's the creator economy go? And, it changes so quickly the next 5 years, 10 years. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing that I've been thinking about is just, I don't like to use the word competition, but there's just going to be more people who feel the nudge because they see the possibility. So I feel like where content creation is going is, I actually do think it's going to be more micro and more niche audiences, but it's going to create more fandom. You know, like when I think about having an interest-based podcast, if you love Star Wars, if you love classic cars or coffee, and you had a podcast and you did that, I wouldn't be surprised if you got invited to speak at the coffee convention or the Corvette convention, or even,
Exactly.
like doing things like that. Um, and so I think the future of content creation looks smaller and intimate, but just as powerful. And so
Yeah.
it's going to afford more people the opportunity. I think, something Gary Vee mentioned was just like, it's not that difficult to make 40, 50, 60K online with your passion. Like, and that has been created because of the platform, all these various platforms. So I actually don't like, because that shows me more opportunity, because there are more platforms. I actually don't use TikTok. I don't upload on TikTok. And some people will say like, bro, you're already uploading on Reels. Well, I don't. I don't want to,
Eh, yeah.
I'm gonna be all right. And
All right.
so,
You're good. You know thyself.
yeah. And then so I think by deciding on a platform and just sticking with it, I really do believe you can add to your income, replace your income. And like you said, and like I feel like the theme of this podcast is just like have fun doing it.
Yeah. Enjoy it. That's the thing that I wish more people got. As somebody who's been on YouTube for a while and a content creator, a lot of people are attracted to it because of those content creators who say, "Look at how much money I made."
Mhm.
Right? A lot of people come to it for the money, the AdSense, and don't even realize all the other revenue streams that are possible. I want people to think about this, especially if you already have a day job, to think about how to share your passion and interest, how to create more joy and happiness, not only in your life, but in the lives of others. Trust me when I say, when you can impact others positively, your cup overflows.
That's good.
And I just want more people to realize that if more Gen X baby boomers, any generation realize the positive impact we can make, I believe social media, specifically YouTube, would grow even more powerful. This is something I believe, but maybe it's my niche, which is finance and investing. What the people I call doomers, who all they do is produce scary headline grabbing nonsense, they grow really, really fast, Omar.
Mhm.
But they also have to live a miserable life. I would never want to do that. What do you think of all that?
I think that's true. I think people do it for the wrong reasons. And so this is why self-awareness is a big play when it comes to posting yourself and putting yourself out there. I asked one of my best performing podcasts was with this branding guru. His name's Chris Do. And I asked him, like, how does somebody start building their personal brand? And his answer was hilarious, but also very smart. He said, I would ask them to go see a therapist first.
I saw that one. Yes.
Yeah. So before you start creating, just know yourself. Or you said, know thyself, and have the self awareness to know, you and that, like, if wealth is the goal, and I feel like that is the goal of all of us. We're all trying to find this, this place in life where we get to decide what we want to do when we want to do it. And but but wealth without joy, I would argue, is not wealth at all.
No, it isn't. No, you must have. Oh, absolutely. I
And
know
so
plenty of miserable people with quote
exactly.
unquote money.
Right. And so I interviewed my pastor last week, and he's like, I golf, I have to pay to golf. Like, it doesn't make me money, but
Mhm.
it makes me wealthy because it makes me joy, or it brings joy. So, doing the doom and gloom and using fear-based marketing, I feel like that's going to get old, over time. And it's funny actually seeing everybody's projections for how 2023 was going to be the worst thing in the world, 40%, all this down, whatever, all this stuff. And like, no, you guys are wrong. So that we're just going to get smarter. Like, people are just going to become more aware, and it's going to just become white noise. So the key is, rather than caring about the front facing thing, like the fear mongering or whatever, just care about the nurturing of the people that would and do
Yes.
click on your videos. And that base should grow, so that when you drop a video, that the base of people who click on your videos because you dropped one, because they love what you're producing, that's something that I would work for. That's why I do care about the types of clips I put out there, because I feel like every clip that I put out is gonna win you to listen on to the next one. So
No, I couldn't agree more. Kind of the final topic that I wrote down in my notes for this conversation, you talked about when your brand new podcast, The Department, and you really talked about how you got curious about yourself, right? Who is Omar is kind of how I took that in. Being the department, you can go lots of different ways, entrepreneur, sales, content, all of that. Why don't you just talk about the importance of that curiosity?
yeah, I like to say that your curiosity is the cheat code for your content. And if you just live in that, like, and again, it's a self-awareness piece. Like, I genuinely have these questions that I'm wondering from people that I'm interviewing. And so, or I might disagree. And so, and it's all based on the curiosity factor. And it's funny how much curiosity, generally speaking, is just a theme throughout content creation. So even like when you make a thumbnail, you want to evoke curiosity. You want people to be like, what's going on there? Click, you know. But in your own content, when I say curiosity, it also is a replacement for, you know, passions or things you're learning about. It's the driver for the conversations I'm having. And what I'm finding is it's actually my curiosity is what's making the connection to the people that actually want to follow and consume my podcast. And so I chose the department because, you know, I did want more broad appeal. Because I pre-decided and said I'm gonna just have this podcast, and I don't want to limit it up front. There will be, I would say, the majority, because of me, of who I am. Of course, we're gonna have marketing, entrepreneurial content conversations. But you know, I uploaded a leadership conversation with my pastor last week. I'll interview other people because I wanted it to kind of have broad appeal. I kind of got that from Hermosi as well. Like when he changed his podcast from like Gym Launch Secrets to The Game with Alex Hermosi,
Yeah,
it grew a little bit because it had more broad appeal, even though
correct.
his examples, his experiences all had to do with, you know, starting and scaling gyms and stuff. So that was kind of like the idea. I was like, I'd like something general enough, but something that could still, and it all just worked out. I was like, dude, this is cool. Like I'm having conversations with people who are killing it in their department. And it's like, you know, today's department is the real estate department or whatever, you know. And so it worked out. I think I'm glad I did the broad appeal
Yeah,
approach, which it's not to be confused with like not niching down. I think some people would say like, well, then you don't need a niche. I think there's still like the niche is my curiosity. So in many aspects, you know, that the curiosity creates that niche.
yeah. Oh, I like it. Well, we started this conversation talking about the fastest path to wealth. I guess I'll just ask you, do you feel like you've made it? Are you wealthy today? Are you still evolving, or what do you think?
I think I mean I have this goal, you know, I still feel like I'm earning. So I have a friend who sold a business a year ago, and he took me on a trip last year, and he said, you know what, Omar, there's this part of our brain that when you're earning, you're using it up, and your brain can only give so much away. He's like, it's crazy that when the earning thing gets taken care of, that you start to operate from a place of creativity that could only be operated in once your money is taken care of, right? And I feel like I'm 32 years old and I'm still trying to learn the game of business and what's business. I actually think business is a means to invest, right? So
Agreed.
business will allow you to accelerate your finances or your income because you're not trading time for money, you're trading time for results. But it's what you do with that money. That's what I'm learning. That's the season I'm kind of in, is like, what is that for us? Is it, you know, is it flipping homes, or is it rental properties? I don't understand stocks, so I'm like still trying to stay away from
Maybe
it.
you're going to be buying businesses like Hermosi, just at a different scale.
Yeah, honestly, I
Maybe.
mean, I can help them with certain things. And
Exactly.
so that's kind of, yeah, that's the season I'm in.
I like it.
Definitely a scaling season too, personally, because I gave coaching like a shot last year, and I'm realizing like I'm supposed to do this for the next at least 5 years or so. And so I'd like to just hone in on that. I've learned that reinvesting back in the business always pays uh, back, you know, 5x. So so yeah, I mean that's kind of where I'm at, and learning from guys like you is why I stay on my phone, you know.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
That's amazing. Well, Omar, you do a lot of amazing stuff. If somebody wanted to follow the podcast or follow you, where should we send them?
Yeah, you can go to YouTube and just search Omar El Takori, or put the department. It's like abbreviated, or just find me on Instagram. Type in Omar EL, and then I'll show up El Takori. And then yeah, I'm always, you know, posting great, valuable content that each and every bite will get you thinking. I think is what
Oh,
a
I
lot of people
totally
say.
agree. I
Yeah,
love what you're doing. Keep doing it. Omar, thank you for being here. Thank you for giving all this time. You're amazing.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me.